We're TTB, the Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau.
Well, thank you all for joining us today. Again, my name is Chris Tiemann, and I'm a program manager in the Regulations and Rulings Division. I'm in my 15th year here at TTB, so I'm excited to be working on this project for quite some time, and we're eager as a bureau to be moving on to the next stage, which will be preparing for the importer claims over the next few weeks. I'm going to open my presentation. Okay, so as always, we have to start with the TTB disclaimer. This information is being presented to help the public understand and comply with the laws and regulations that TTB administers. It is not intended to establish any new or change any existing definitions, interpretations, standards, or procedures regarding those laws and regulations. In addition, the presentation may be made obsolete by changes in laws and regulations, so please consult the applicable laws and regulations for the most current requirements. So going over what we're going to talk about today, we've noticed there's actually a lot of new registrants on the webinar today. So I'm going to continue with a little bit of an overview of CBMA in general, talking about what's changed, foreign producer responsibilities, importer responsibilities, and then move on to the importer claims system and procedures, and next steps and more information for what to expect next. So starting with an overview. The Craft Beverage Modernization Act provisions of the Internal Revenue Code provide for reduced rates of tax or credits for beer, wine, and distilled spirits. And those benefits are limited in quantity on an annual basis for every producer, including foreign producers. Foreign producers utilize these benefits by assigning them to U.S. importers of the products. And the U.S. importers pay the federal excise tax on imported beer, wine, and distilled spirits to CBP when products are entered into the country. So talking a little bit about what happened during the initial years of the Craft Beverage Modernization Act import provisions, those were administered by CBP. So under CBP's administration, importers were required to maintain documentation relating to their CBMA benefits, and submit certain CBMA-related data elements to CBP, such as the control group name, the allocation quantity, a CBMA rate designation code, a flavor content credit indicator for distilled spirits. So note that for merchandise entered or withdrawn from warehouse for consumption on or before December 31st of last year, the CBMA was processed by CBP. And now beginning January 1st, CBMA is processed and administered by TTB. So when the laws was made permanent in late 2020, a change in the law transferred responsibility for administering those tax benefits for imported alcohol from CBP to the Treasury Department, beginning with products entered for consumption on or after January 1st of this year. So in 2021, Treasury outlined a plan to implement the import provisions and announced that TTB would be administering those provisions. And CBP and TTB have coordinated before and during the transition and continue to do so to make things as smooth as possible. So when the law was made permanent, it also changed the way in which importers can take advantage of the tax benefits. So as of January 1st, as most of you know, importers must pay the full rate of tax to CBP at the time of entry, and then may submit a claim to TTB for a refund. Note that importers of distilled spirits may still apply any wine and flavor tax credits at the time of the initial tax payment, but may only receive the CBMA tax benefits through filing a refund claim. So in September 23rd, 2022, TTB published our temporary regulations implementing the provisions of the CBMA imports, and that temporary rule took effect on October 24th, 2022. Those documents are all available online, as are any of the public comments that we received on the documents. And so I'm going to go through some of the key provisions from those regulations. So the first step in the CBMA import provisions under the new administration is for foreign producers to register and assign their benefits. So foreign producers may assign their CBMA tax benefits to one or more importers of their products. An importer cannot take advantage of the tax benefits unless the foreign producer has assigned their tax benefits to the importer. The foreign producer must assign the tax benefits by commodity and specific tax benefit using the new MyTTB online system. And this registration is not conducted using permits online. We are eventually planning to move more systems into the MyTTB system, but this is the first one, and we're excited for that. Foreign producers who wish to assign CBMA tax benefits must first register with TTB and receive from us a TTB foreign producer ID. The U.S. importers use that TTB foreign producer ID to identify the foreign producer when submitting information to CBP during the entry process, as well as when submitting CBMA import refund claim information to TTB. And as of March 21st, we've received 8,949 foreign producer registrations. We are putting that data on our CBMA imports website, which I'll be showing you later. One other thing is a reminder that foreign producers may use third-party agents to register for the foreign producer, as well as to make assignments of the CBMA tax benefits on its behalf. A person acting as an agent must maintain written proof of authorization from that foreign producer to act on the foreign producer's behalf and must provide that proof to TTB upon request. We do have an FAQ on our CBMA imports webpage. That's FAQ FP6 that gives details on using third-party agents. So after registering, then the foreign producer will need to provide information to assign benefits in the MyTTB system. And there's a number of pieces of information that are required there. The calendar year, the specific importer. Also, if an importer doesn't have a TTB permit number because they're not required to, if they're only importing products that don't fall under the FAA Act, TTB will assign a reference number that can be used in lieu of the TTB permit number. The assignment is also made by the specific commodity, such as beer, wine, or distilled spirits, and the specific reduced rate or credit being assigned. So for example, within distilled spirits, you can assign a certain quantity at the 270 per proof gallon rate and a certain quantity at the 1334 rate. Don't forget that the quantities of tax benefits available to be assigned may be affected by controlled group rules that apply when multiple alcohol producers are under common ownership. So while the MyTTB system will control for limiting the amount of assignments for a specific producer, the system does not currently aggregate assignments among controlled groups. So it is the foreign producer's responsibility to ensure that they are not exceeding limitations for the controlled group. Additional assignments may be made throughout the year, but foreign producers may not unilaterally revoke the assignments. So importers will be able to return assignments or portions of assignments once the CBMA importer claim system is available in the next quarter. So once the foreign producer fulfills its responsibilities, the next steps are responsibilities for the importer. So again, as of January 1st, importers would pay the full rate of tax subject to any wine and flavor credits for distilled spirits to CBP at the time of entry. And then to take advantage of the CBMA rates, the importer must electronically file a refund claim with TTB. Importers may file refund claims after the close of each calendar quarter covering entries in that quarter. And as I mentioned earlier, an importer may only claim refunds on imports where the foreign producer has assigned the CBMA tax benefits to that importer using the MyTTB online system. So before claiming a refund, the importer must submit information in their customs entry filings in identifying the products that will be subject to the claim, including the commodity, beer, wine, or distilled spirits, and the quantity being imported with an assigned CBMA tax benefit, the name and TTB foreign producer ID of the foreign producer assigning the CBMA tax benefits, and the specific reduced tax rate or tax credit assigned to the imported quantity. Most CBMA data elements can be added or updated after filing the entry summary using a post-summary correction. And I'll talk a little bit about why that's important in a minute. So some tips that we've put for entry filings. It is important to have the following for accurate claims processing. Make sure that there's a valid TTB importer permit number in the entry. Make sure there's only one permit number per entry line. Valid TTB form producer ID should also be on the entry summary. And the import date cannot be blank or missing from the entry summary. And the reason it's so important that these entries be accurate is that, as you'll see in a few moments, we will be using this data from ACE to compile the information in the import claim system. So when the information doesn't match up, it will make it difficult to file the claim. So after the end of the quarter, the importer can file a quarterly refund claim based on the CBMA tax benefits assigned to them after the imported products have entered the United States for consumption, and after the importer has paid to CBP the tax due on those products at the full rate. The amount of the refund is determined on a quarterly basis. That is, the calendar quarter must end before CBMA refund claims may be filed for any consumption entries made during that quarter. And as I mentioned, the refund claims must be filed electronically using the MyTTB system. So what's the regular claim procedure? The regular claim procedure is the procedure that should apply to the vast majority of entries and claims. So our CBMA importer claim system will retrieve the data entered in ACE. This importer claim system will present to the importer entry summary lines that the importer flagged in ACE as subject to CBMA tax benefits. And that flag means using the C flag in ACE, that's the letter C, that will alert ACE to provide that information to TTB. Importers will prepare a claim by selecting the entry summary lines that they would like to include in the claim. The claim submission and TTB review process will be streamlined if importers enter complete and correct data in ACE. And as a note, preparing for launch, the CBMA importer claim system relies on the key contact information associated with the importer in TTB's permits online system. So to ensure that the importer has access to the CBMA importer claim system as soon as it is available, importers should check now that their key contacts in permits online are accurate and up to date. I put the website on here. It's www.ttb.gov/panel-help/designate-key-contacts. You could also, look for that in your search engine, but it's very important that the key contacts be up to date so that we can match it up with the users in the MyTTB system. Along those lines, each user must have an individual MyTTB account to access the CBMA importer claim system. So importers will be able to complete authorization for the system and create their MyTTB account prior to the launch of the CBMA importer claim system. Our system will be using both login.gov and id.me as choices to use authorization to the system. We expect that system to go live in the very near future. So be on the lookout in the TTB newsletter for an announcement of that. And we do recommend going ahead and going through that process before the end of the quarter to get your authorization in place. But do not create another MyTTB account if you already have one. We do have some checks in place that would hopefully prevent someone from creating both, let's say, a login.gov and an id.me account with different names, but sometimes they don't match up. So only create one MyTTB account and let us know if you have any issues. So what's in the importer claim system? There are a lot of steps that you can do in the importer claim system. And most of these are the steps that you'll go through to file a claim, although the last one is about returning an assignment. So basically, to file a claim, you can review the assignments that were made by foreign producer. So an importer who logs in can see all of those assignments that are made, be able to review entry summary lines, prepare claims, review and submit prepared claims, then view and print those submitted claims. You can also check the status of your claim in the system and view and print final TTB actions on the claim. I'll be going through each of these steps in detail on the next slides. So the first step when you enter the importer claim system is to review entries. The system will show entry summary lines associated with the permit or TTB reference number. So again, assuming the information in ACE is accurate, your claim information should automatically appear in the entry summary lines. This also includes entry summary lines needing correction. So correction reasons might be that you have the C claim indicator and we were able to match it up with the permit number, but there might be something that needs to be corrected, such as the missing import date, an invalid tax amount, or no foreign producer assignment for the permit. So you can make those corrections before filing the claim. If you're missing entry summary lines altogether on your when you're reviewing the entries, that may indicate that the C claim indicator was not entered in ACE, or the entry may have the wrong permit number in ACE. So then you can prepare and submit your claim. To do so, you'd select the entry summary lines for which you wish to file a claim, confirm that the entry summary line has the correct data, confirm the claim amount, and then review and submit the prepared claim. You may choose your refund method, which refund may be by check or direct deposit. If you need to make a change to the check mailing address, that requires updating the permit mailing address in Permits Online. But we note that direct deposit is certainly quicker and more secure. And once you've submitted, you may also view and print your submitted claims. I should note, by the way, that we are planning to present another video after the system goes live that will include a walkthrough, like we did for the foreign producer system, of the system itself. So again, subscribe to the TTB newsletter and be on the lookout for that, and we will provide that video of a walkthrough for you. And again, the last thing available in the importer claim system is the opportunity to return assignments. So as we mentioned earlier, the foreign producer cannot unilaterally take back an assignment if they need to make changes to assignments throughout the year. But the importer can return assignments, and those can be done both in full or in part. And you may not return assignments that have already been used to file a claim. But if for some reason you have a business change, or for whatever other reason you want to return the assignment in full or in part, that can be done using the new system when it goes live. Now, as I mentioned, it's important for the regular claims procedure to have all the accurate information in ACE. But in certain limited circumstances, it's not possible for an importer to submit the required information in ACE, or to update or missing incorrect information. So in the coming weeks, or coming days probably, TTB will publish an industry circular that will authorize an alternate procedure through which importers in these situations may file claims. The industry circular will identify the approved situations for the alternate claim procedure and provide filing instructions. Claims falling under the alternate claim procedure will still be submitted through the MyTTB CBMA importer claim system, but may require additional TTB review prior to approval. And TTB will also be publishing detailed instructions you may use when needing to file using the alternate claims procedure. So once the claim is received and approved, payments will be made by the selected payment method, and the payment will include interest only if TTB does not issue a refund within 90 days after a complete and valid claim is filed. So for more information, again, as I mentioned throughout the presentation, we have a TTB CBMA imports website, which we're frequently updating with guidance, user guides, videos, and FAQs. As Janelle mentioned, we use the questions that are submitted in writing, both in these webinars as well as through the RRD contact box, to prepare FAQs that we add to this page on a fairly regular basis. You may also subscribe to updates to this page. There is a Gov Delivery subscription option at the top of that page, and that will alert you when anything new is added to the page or changed. Just a reminder, the MyTTB system is available at my.ttb.gov. That's where you can find the foreign producer registration and assignment system, as well as where the importer claim system will be in the near future. A user guide is available for the foreign producer system, and we expect one to be available soon for the importer claim system. And TTB will continue to provide training materials on how to use these systems, again, including a walkthrough webinar, as I mentioned. So as we mentioned, please submit any questions that you have on CBMA to the Regulations and Rulings Division using the contact form. It's best to do that in writing so that we can work on them with the appropriate team members as well as collect them for the use for determining what we want to make FAQs on our website. If necessary, you can call 202-453-2265 to reach the Regulations and Rulings Division, but it really is best if you submit your questions through the contact form available on our website. We'd also like to ask that you take a few minutes to provide feedback on the presentation. These are really useful for us as we're determining our outreach efforts. So you can find our survey using the QR code on your screen or by going to ttb.gov/survey.
Visit TTB's official YouTube channel at USTTB.gov for more TTB-related content. And remember to click subscribe so you'll always know when we upload new videos.